Hello and welcome to Odds on Serie A Matchday 17, and we have what a result. Lazio 0, Inter 6. Of course, we are saying in this show that Inter is the favorite to win the trophy, and still, Leo, the odds are very good, 2.15. But if you want to tell a statement, you go to the Olimpico and win 6-0. What a result.
Absolutely. And to be honest, up to the first goal, when Çalhanoğlu scored from the penalty spot in the 40th minute of the game, 5 minutes before the break, I mean, you didn't have the feeling that the game is going to end in that thrashing, but the second half was amazing, super effective Inter in attack, and 𝐿𝐵𝗿𝗀, what a goal for the third one as well.
Well, the XG for Inter was around 2. And they scored 6.
Look at that.
So imagine the efficiency from the Nerazzurri. Well, but we have another Nerazzurri team on top. We have Atalanta still on top of the table because they were able to win. So it's so interesting, Serie A, with so many surprises as we saw with Milan, with Juventus, with Roma. So stay tuned. Let's analyze this new match day with Leo Bachanian. Remember to press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And first game is on Friday. Verona Milan is always an important day when Milan goes to Verona. They have bad thoughts in the 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀, and this Milan, as I keep saying, is very difficult to trust. Leo, another game where they drop points against Genoa at home after the defeat against Atalanta, still very unreliable. And what we didn't expect was Verona to beat Parma away. Thanks to that win, they are out of the relegation zone, and they were coming from 4 consecutive defeats.
Yes, absolutely, Edu. And to be honest, it's been a match day 16 full of strange results, or full of surprises. One of them was, Verona's win away in the Ennio Tardini. Also that Milan could not pass Genoa at home. The story of the season for me. Now, how many times we spoke about how continuously inconsistent they are. But to be honest, now the repercussions are not only for Paulo Fonseca, Edu, because even Zlatan Ibrahimovic, in his role as an ambiguous sporting director, which he's not, but he's the only one who takes decisions in that regard. Even Zlatan, someone with his statue in Milan, was booed by some parts of the support, and his face was shown on the screen against Genoa. So the unhappiness is very palatable. So once again, we have a match this season in which the result could be potentially decisive for the manager's future. There is also a contrast with what the supporters see and think of the team, and what Fonseca is seeing from his players, because after the game he expressed satisfaction with the performance against Genoa. Yes, they had 22 shots on goal, or 22 shots attempt, but just 4 of them on target, dominated possession, 9 corners, but very far away from a convincing display. I mean, not a display to celebrate at least 125 years of history. I don't know if you've seen the image of seeing Rijkaard, Van Basten, Gullit, Baresi, Maldini all together, but for sure it wasn't. They weren't very impressed with what they've seen. I think also Rafael Leao may have had good intentions in what he said after the game, but to claim that it takes time to understand Fonseca's ideas, come on. I mean, it's been 6 months already. So either Fonseca does not make himself very clear, or the players are not very willing to understand what the Portuguese wants. With Genoa, Fonseca dropped Theo Hernandez. He gave the start to Alex Jimenez, who is on loan from Real Madrid, only 19 years old, and he did very well. Morata started on the bench. He came on. He hit the crossbar. Pulisic is out injured as well. They are now just 1 win in the last 5 matches. Bologna has overtaken Milan also in the 7th position. They are 8 points away from Champions League spots. And to be honest, in any other moment, maybe a visit to Verona, I would not have many doubts about Milan, but between this form, which is very difficult to read with Milan, and also Verona being at the back of this win against Parma, I'm not saying that Milan is not favorite or anything like that. No, but Verona has their own inconsistency too. 5 wins and 11 defeats so far in the season. 3 of those 5 wins happened at home. But 8 days ago, Empoli went there and won 4-1. 3 weeks ago, Inter scored 5 in 40 minutes as well in Verona. Even against Monza, Verona got trashed at home. So my take might be a little bit more conservative. Is Milan to score first and goals over 1.5. Milan to score first, goals over 1.5. Odds of 1.83.
Well, I was mentioning the problems Milan historically had at Verona, fatal Verona, they call it. They lost to Scudetti in 1973 and in 1999, long time ago, but they lost it at the 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀, so it's kind of a nightmare stadium, a jinx place for the Rossoneri. Next game, Leo, is Torino-Bologna. Both have had great weekends. Both won. Bologna beat Fiorentina 1-0. Now they are very close to the European spots. It's 5 wins in the last 7 Serie A games with only 2 defeats this season in Serie A. And Torino, against the odds, against what we thought, they were able to beat Empoli. And perhaps, Leo, we should look at the under market. Last 8 games for Torino were under 2.5 goals.
Yes, could be an option. Actually, to be honest, I will explain why I'm going the goals market, but the other way, and of course, understandably, the odds on the goals over are quite high, which is the way I'm gonna go. But I will explain you why I'm gonna be going that way. I know if you have seen Torino's goal, Edu, 𝐬𝐴𝐵𝗀𝗻 scoring from beyond the halfway line. Oh, beautiful goal. One of the best ones in Europe last weekend, Edu. They won Torino after 49 days or 6 match days, as you want to call it. 𝐬𝐴𝐵𝗀𝗻, before scoring this beauty, he was 8 games without a league goal for Torino. That's why Paolo Vanoli started the Scottish in the bench, but he came on the second half, and 5 minutes after he scored a beautiful goal, like from 60 or 70 meters. 4 goals now in Serie A for him, and 3 of those 4 goals have been winning goals. The other one was in the home defeat against Lazio. Now Torino maybe should regain the confidence of Antonio Sanabria, the Paraguayan striker. He has 2 goals, and he hasn't scored since the defeat with Cagliari in October. He almost scored against Empoli, but was denied by the goalkeeper. It was an entertaining game. Torino Empoli, to be honest, there were chances for both Empoli and Torino. A crucial win for Torino as well, Edu, because they are now level on points with Empoli, with 19 points in the 11th position. But I'm saying crucial as well because last match day we saw Como winning, Verona winning, Lecce winning. So it was important for them. At home, Torino, 2 wins all season. Como, unsurprisingly, Atalanta. But that win against Atalanta happened on Matchday too, so I will be more surprised if they manage to get the 3 points with Bologna on Saturday, since Bologna halted Fiorentina's 8 league consecutive wins with that crucial 1-0 at the Stadio Dallara. Jens Odgaard scoring his 3rd goal of the season. He has already scored more than last season when he only scored 2. The win also gave Vincenzo Italiano kind of like a sweet victory against his old club. As you said, Bologna 5 wins in the last 7 matches. They have 25 points. So they've been defeated only twice in the season. If they could have traded 1 or 2 of their 7 draws into wins, we could be talking maybe now of Champions League spot for Bologna. Of the 7 home games played by Torino, only 3 have been both teams to score. That's true. Not usually it's the under market in Turin for Torino. But they do 7 of the 8 away matches for Bologna have been goals over 2.5. And that's why I'm reading more in the way Bologna is arriving to this game, and that's why I'm leaning more to the goals over market this time. So for me, it's goals over 2.5, odds of 2.85.
Okay, another possibility for sure. Your odds are better than mine. Leo, next one is Genoa Napoli. Great game, this one, because it's not easy to win in Genoa. They grabbed a great draw in San Siro after another draw against Torino. So it's 4 draws in the last 5 games, unbeaten in 6. So again, we shouldn't expect an easy win here for Napoli, although credit to them bouncing back in Udine after back-to-back defeats against Lazio, after conceding the first goal, and with some great goals for Napoli. Leo, it was a very precious win, the one they had in Friuli.
And you said it's not easy to win in Genoa. It's not easy to win in Genoa, even for Genoa, because they remain with Monza, the only 2 teams without wins at home so far in the season. And it's good that you mentioned Napoli bouncing back after that 2 consecutive defeats with Lazio, because I had in my notes how much they have bounced back so far in the season when they had a setback. Because look, Edu, after losing 3-0 with Verona on Matchday 1, I know that was a long time ago, but it doesn't matter. They won 3-0 on Matchday 2. I'm talking about Napoli, of course. After the defeat with Atalanta, they drew with Inter, and they won away the following match against Roma. And now they responded again after 2 consecutive defeats with Lazio. And the top of the Serie A is still on touching distance, just 2 points away from them. They put on a personality display in Udine because they went behind after 21 minutes in the game, with 𝗀𝗏𝗀 scoring from the penalty spot. But before 𝗀𝗏𝗀 having that chance on the penalty spot, they had like 2 or 3 chances with David Neres. So basically, Napoli should have been in front before Udinese scored. In the second half, Romelu Lukaku scored after 5 minutes with a very Lukaku's goal, running through the middle channel, and a goal that we have seen plenty of time in Lukaku's career, like a center back desperately falling to the floor after trying to bring him down. And the second half was everything about Napoli. Neres was outstanding in the second goal. The stats will point that Gianetti, the Argentinian, was the one who scored an own goal, but it was a great diagonal dribble from Neres. Then 𝗏𝗏𝗏 also scored a goal very similar to the one from Lukaku, going through the middle channel. So for me, Edu, I'm trusting this Napoli. I like what I've seen against Udinese. For them, it's 5 wins and 2 draws away from home. So for me, it's Napoli to win 2-0. Again, high odds 2.6.
All right, next game in the Via del Mare, Lecce, Lazio. As we said, Lazio smashed by Inter, but we don't have to forget they are having a great season.
Yeah.
We didn't expect them to be this good after Sarri, both in the Europa League and in Serie A, still in very close to Champions League spots. As we said, beating Napoli twice in the previous week. But now we have to see how they react, Leo, after a really heavy defeat against Inter, and in a pitch that also is not easy to win. Lecce grabbed good results when they are playing at home, beat Monza at the weekend, and it's only 1 defeat in the last 5 games for Lecce.
Yes, and if we were talking about how Napoli was bouncing back, we would like to see, or I would like to see personally, how Lazio is going to respond to what happened last night at the Olimpico, the thrashing, first the home defeat of the season as well for Lazio. Was the biggest defeat in history at home against Inter 2. They will start as well not only that they will start 2025 facing Roma at the derby, but not this weekend. The following one is Lazio Atalanta. So Edu, is the end of the year is going to be tough. The start of the year is going to be with the derby, and that's why this game against Lecce becomes very, very, very important for them. I think maybe, I'm not saying as much as I believe, and we always agree that Inter is the candidate to lift the trophy, the Scudetto, this season again, I don't think that there are like 6-goal gap between Inter and Lazio, but I think that probably it should work as a reality check for Lazio, that maybe their fight is not the title, but is definitely to try to get into one of the Champions League spots. I think the intensity they put into the game, it cost Lazio. Do not forget, because I saw them as well in the second half, like physically very tired after the first half when they were trying to push Inter or to match Inter's intensity all over the pitch. And do not forget that Lazio had 2 days less of rest because Inter played Champions League football in Leverkusen on a Tuesday night, and Lazio played against Ajax in Amsterdam on Thursday night. So maybe the approach, of course, it's easy to say now after the game, but maybe the approach should have been a little bit different, a little bit more conservative, taking into account this rest that Inter had a little bit more than them. They didn't have important players in each line. Lazio, no Romagnoli at the back, no Mattias Vecino in midfield, no Tati Castellanos up front. Tati is going to be back now against Lecce, and then you have Nuno Tavares, who had a nap in the second half, allowing Dumfries to score a header, and was a lack of focus and concentration for 45 minutes, and it cost them very dearly. They are now just fifth, not just, but they are fifth on goal difference with Fiorentina. As I said, they were going to have Tati Castellanos back against Lecce. Lecce is feeling for sure revitalized after their 2-1 win against Monza, which allowed them to climb on the table. They are now... But yes, anyway, at the bottom of the table, there are like 7 teams in 2 points. That's true as well. And since that 6-0 defeat at home against Fiorentina, the results at home for Lecce have not been bad, as you've been saying, because we will find 2 wins and draws with Empoli and Juventus. So that's why my take here, not very high odds, but first half double chance for Lecce, 1.57, Edu.
All right, I don't think it's going to be easy as well for Lazio. Well, the other team in the capital is still in crisis. It was a very ugly defeat for Roma. In Como, already on Sunday, we have Roma, Parma. I was reading some comments from the tifosi of Roma, already thinking about getting away from the relegation. It could be a disaster season for them. They are already thinking, Leo, to stay away, because they are only 2 points above relegation, still no wins away from home. But at the Olympico, they won the last 2 games against Lecce and against Braga, and this Parma concedes a lot.
Yes, Anedu, but I understand if they are thinking about that, because the moment you start to think, no, this is not going to happen to us, that is going to happen to you. You know, I mean, I always remember when River in Argentina, because we are talking about a big team as well, who was never relegated before, and thinking, this cannot going to happen to us. At the end of the day, referees or someone is going to help us, and it didn't happen, and they went relegated to Serie B in Argentina. So Roma should be careful if they think that they are not in trouble, because the table shows completely different things. All the improvements recently from Roma, which I was talking, they went all through the rain against Como. Yes, both goals for Como came on added time, but it wasn't a very good display neither. True that they had chances. Dybala could have scored with the free kick. 𝐿 had a disallowed goal, but overall it wasn't the Roma that I have seen, especially playing at home. But yeah, that's the thing. When Roma is at home, things are a little bit different. And Parma did not better than Roma on match day 16 with that defeat against Verona, 2-3 at home, which was their 4th defeat in the last 6 match days, 2 consecutive for them. Only 1 game all season for Parma. Only 1 game all season for Parma was both teams to score no. Just 1 game. All from their 8 home games, 6 of them goals over 2.5. So 6 out of 8 Parma at home goals over 2.5. And Roma at home, 10 goals scored in the last 5, 7 of them in the last 2 between Serie A and Europa League. So my take here, Edu, both teams to score yes, odds of 1.75.
Good one indeed, with Parma able to score, of course, and Roma being a disaster this season. Then Venezia, Cagliari, important game for the relegation battle. Both are in the bottom three. Venezia with 10 points. They were this close to win at the Juventus Stadium and make a great surprise, again competing well against big teams. They also drew the last home game against Como, and Cagliari, Leo, lost to Atalanta and Fiorentina 1-0 in the last two games. 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀𝐻𝐿 is kind of a specialist in these kind of games, and Cagliari is the underdog, so perhaps we should back them somehow.
And I would back them, Edu. Yes, and to be honest, despite their defeat with Atalanta, it wasn't bad at all, because they created many chances. There is actually a triple save from �𝐭𝐚𝐲, Atalanta's goalkeeper, in the first half. That should have seen Cagliari going in front. Atalanta had to wait until the 67th minute of the game to get themselves in front and produce the winning goal. Cagliari had 8 shots on target. That's a lot against any team, but against the leader of this Serie A is even more impressive. It's true that they show only one away win this season, Cagliari, but against Juventus away they took a point. Away with Lazio was a 2-1 defeat. Against Fiorentina, you mentioned, just as well a 1-goal margin, a 1-0 defeat for them. So basically they have been able to put on a fight and compete against top 8 teams so far. I don't see Venezia as favorite here, as much as Venezia almost ran away with a shocking win in Turin against Juventus. 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀 scoring from the penalty spot on added time to make it 2-2. A real 6-pointer, this one, 4 points separating them. And as much as it was impressive for Venezia to be down on the game, but then to be 2-1 up and not being able to get the 3 points, the reality is that the season is not going to be solved by winning in Turin. These are the type of game that Venezia should be looking at. But for me, it's Cagliari the favorite here, Edu. That's why my take is Cagliari double chance 1.6, and also another one which could be interesting, first half draw, odds a little bit higher, 2.2. But if not, my main take here is double chance Cagliari, 1.6.
All right, important game, this one for the relegation. Then Atalanta, Empoli. Of course, Atalanta super favorites, still top of the table. Zaniolo was the one scoring the goal in Sardinia. Is 10 consecutive wins in Serie A. They don't have, they only play Cesena in Coppa Italia, so it's a good week for them to rest some players after playing Champions League Serie A. And Empoli, Leo, big surprise, as I said before, losing to Torino. Still, as we know, they could be very dangerous, and they are good when they play away.
Yes, and Atalanta as well shouldn't feel overconfident because of that display against Cagliari. As I just mentioned, that Cagliari should have been in front. I mean, it was actually a first half, especially poor display when you look at Atalanta's, of course, standard. And also Gasperini, I believe he thought the same, because he introduced 3 changes straight away after halftime. He said after the game that they got lucky to win against Cagliari. So it was far from a happy Gasperini in the press conference, saying that in the squad not everyone is ready to achieve important things, and the team needs to mature all together. One of those to get subbed at halftime was Matteo Retegui, who is not having the best period of the season for him. He was benched in important games like Napoli, Milan, and Real Madrid. He's still, of course, the leading goal scorer, the 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬 with 12 this season, but have celebrated twice in the last 5 matches. On the other hand, one who is enjoying a good time coming from the bench is, as you said, Niccolò Zaniolo. He scored the second one against Roma 2 weeks ago, and now the winning goal against Cagliari. As with Roma, when he scored, he almost ignited a fire in the opposition fans, and that's why Gasperini took a dressing down on Zaniolo. He wasn't happy as well with Zaniolo's celebration, saying he cannot inflame the opposition every time he scored a goal. But that's what Zaniolo is about. Let's see if he's going to listen to his manager. At home, Atalanta, 6 wins and 1 defeat, 22 goals scored. So basically 3 on average when Atalanta plays at home. Empoli is arriving at the back of that surprising defeat for us against Torino with that wonder goal from 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲. 2 defeats in the last 5 for them. The last time they visited Bergamo wasn't too bad though. It was a 2-0 defeat last season. But away from home, yes, they're like a top 8 team, Empoli, this season. Actually, they're like 7th in that condition with 3 wins and 3 draws in 8 matches. But of course, Atalanta is a different beast. So that's why my take here, Atalanta to win at halftime, to win at full time, 1.83.
We should keep trusting 𝐜𝐵𝐴 and trusting Gasperini. Let's see if they are able to finish 2024 on top of the table. Only 2 games left, and the last game of the year for them is against Lazio in the Olympicos. So it's going to be tough for them. And let's go to Monza. Monza-Juve is the next one for sure. We shouldn't trust this Juventus. 10 draws this season. Again, very disappointing against Venezia after beating Man City in the Champions League. They were even very lucky to grab the draw in a last-minute penalty, and it's 4 consecutive draws for them in Serie A. Luckily, Leo, for 𝗲𝗵𝗀𝐻, they are traveling to Monza. Now they are really in trouble, 5 points away from salvation against another defeat, and they are the worst home team in the Serie A with no wins.
Absolutely, and that's why, as much as my first thoughts on Juve is I cannot trust them. It's something similar to what's happening with Milan. You know, when I trust them, they do not provide the results, and then it's difficult to see how it's going to unfold for the following match day. But the thing is, like, they're facing Monza, who's at the back of another defeat, winless at home, as you said, 6 defeats and 3 draws in all competitions in their last 9 outings for them. Alessandro Nesta is still holding onto his position, but not many people believe that he will survive another loss, especially when you are winless at home, as I said, with 5 defeats and scoring 6 goals in 8 matches in that condition. But for Juventus, who have drawn already 10 games, that's too much. That's absolutely a lot. It continues to be an underwhelming season for Juve. It's like 10 draws is already the same amount when you combine the draws from the top 4. So that tells you a lot. At least 3 of those 10 draws happen when everything seemed lost for them, like with Parma, Bologna, and now Venezia. So Juventus' season could have been even a little bit more disappointing. This 10 draws and 6 wins represents the worst start for Juventus in 26 years. They scored 26 goals, which is the 5th best attack and not what you will expect from Juventus. Some good news: Douglas Luiz played 25 minutes against Venezia after returning from injury with City in Champions League. Nico Gonzalez played at least 5 or 7 minutes against Venezia as well. 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀 scored his 7th goal of the season in Serie A, although 4 of them has been from the penalty spot. So that's why, even though Juventus is having an underwhelming season, I'm trusting them to win in Monza in probably the last game for Alessandro Nesta. Juventus to win 1.73.
You always trust in this Juventus, Leo?
Yeah, no, I know. I always fall in the trap, I think, yes.
Let's see what happens in Monza. Next one is Fiorentina-Udinese. End of the great run for Fiorentina. 8 consecutive wins in Serie A, but they went to the Dallara and they lost in Bologna. Still, of course, doing a great season. Udinese lost to Napoli after the beating Monza. In general, this season, they are losing all the big games. Leo, I was checking, and apart from beating Lazio, they lost to all the top teams in Serie A.
Yes, but they're still relatively in a healthy position or comfortable, at least they do 20 points for Udinese, but they lost 4 of the last 6 away. Although the last time away provided a win against Monza for Udinese. So, of course, Fiorentina are the favorites here. It's a shame for them that run of 8 consecutive league wins for them came to an end with Bologna. Only their second defeat of the season for La Viola. Raffaele Palladino, the manager, was not present at the game at the Renato Dell'Ara because his mother passed away. It was a flat performance anyway from Fiorentina. But it shouldn't be a concern, I believe. But quite entertaining game, though, anyway, with Bologna. They were very direct, both teams. Bologna pressing high. So basically, Fiorentina targeting 𝐬𝐭𝐴 𝐾 for him to play with his back to Bologna's goal and trying to combine with 𝗀𝗏𝗿𝗀, who came back in the starting lineup, and also with Beltran. So neither Bologna or Fiorentina played through the middle, and that's why it became a very open game and entertaining one. Second half, Fiorentina did not approach too much Bologna's box. That's why I'm saying it was a flat performance, especially for what I've seen in the second half. David De Gea actually was the best player for Fiorentina and on the game. At home this season, no defeats in Serie A with 5 wins and 2 draws for Fiore. Just 6 goals conceded in that condition, and they have scored more than 2 a game with 15 goals so far in 7 matches for Fiorentina at home. That's why my take here, goals over 2.5, odds of 1.91.
And the last game of this match day, very close to Christmas Eve, is Inter Como. Of course, Inter was a beast against Lazio. They are thrashing every team in Serie A in the last 3 games, scoring a lot of goals and getting great results. And they were coming from a defeat in the Champions League against Leverkusen, but still unaffected by this result. And Como, Leo, I guess they could be very happy to be outside the bottom 3 right now, only 1 point above Cagliari, but still is a newly promoted team for the very first time in Serie A, so they are doing a great job under Cesc Fabregas.
Yes, and they finally managed a win after 9 matches. They suffered with Roma, but after many points for Como lost in the season for them in the final minutes of games, finally they tested that for themselves, scoring both goals on added time. They have one away season. 1 away win so far this season. That was against Atalanta. Other than that, Atalanta Como has shows 5 defeats and 3 draws away from home. So of course, clear favorite here is Inter, who it doesn't matter who plays. Everyone does it very well, and despite that defeat with Leverkusen, they bounced back very quickly and they done it amazingly last night at the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝐻𝐿𝐴. I spoke before of Nicolo Varela's amazing goal, but also Carlos Gusto's goal was very good one. Carlos Gusto replacing Bastoni in the second half, and after a few minutes of scoring that beauty, Thuram scored another one. Thuram already with 11th goal this season, just 1 behind Retegui. It was a surprise to see Inter scoring 6, but not seeing Lautaro Martinez in the score sheet. Although I think Lautaro had a good game, despite not scoring. They are like the team who scored the most so far this season. Inter 40 goals. That is 2.5 goals per game for Inter, and I believe that with Como we should see that average. We should see goals above that average, to be honest, between these 2 teams. When Inter are in a flow, they're irresistible for anyone. My take here, Edu, Inter Asian handicap minus 1.5, odds of 1.76. Asian handicap minus 1.5.
Okay, another heavy win, in your opinion, for Inter. Leo, let's finish the video with your safe bet and your ACCA. Of course, remember that you can also post your tips on Oddspedia. We have plenty of tipsters competitions going on, and we have rivals now where you can create your own competitions and challenge your friends. So let's give the audience some other ideas, Leo, with your safe bet.
Atalanta to win, 1.29.
ACCA?
ACCA Napoli to win, Atalanta to win, and 𝐿𝐵𝐴 goals over 3. All this leaves me with an ACCA of 3.92, Edu.
Okay, Leo Bachanian, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.